Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. In the last video, we discussed how an online business is a much safer option compared to an offline business. And thus, the next obvious question is, what kind of online business should you start? And I would distill it down to three options. Although there are multiple other businesses that you can start, like investing or day trading and things like that. But because the aim of this series is to really help people who have got either no money or have got low budget, I want to make sure that I suggest the most safest options for you guys. So I would say after you've decided to start an online business, you basically have three roads ahead of you. You can either start a business around a physical product, around a digital product, or around a services-based business. And I think the first step is to really understand yourself, because any kind of business can be successful and any kind of business can be a complete failure as well. However, the chances of your success goes really high if you choose something that is based around your strengths. So to clarify this idea, I'm going to use an analogy here. So let's assume you want to start living in a jungle and you have three options in front of you. You can either decide to live in the air, be an animal that lives on land, or be an animal that lives in the sea. And let's assume you are confused as to which one to go for. Now, if you were to ask a vulture, he would say the best place is in the air. You've got the open skies, there's very few predators that can get you, and you can keep an eye on your prey from up above and go grab it and then have a feast, and that's the best place to live on. If you were to ask a cheetah, it would say land is the best place because you have all this ample space to run around, you can sleep in the trees and creep up on animals, and thus it would suggest that living on land is the best option. And then if you were to ask a shark, it would tell you that deep in the oceans is the best place to live in. You've got the vastness of the ocean, all the fish that you want to eat, and just have an amazing time living in the oceans. And they're all correct. However, at the same time, if you were to ask a little sparrow, the airs are one of the most dangerous places to live on. For deer, living on land is super dangerous. And then if you were to go down the chain, smaller fishes, again, the ocean becomes highly dangerous. And I also use this analogy because there are basically two groups of people that will give you business suggestions. The vultures, the cheetahs, and the sharks, who have made big in their own relative businesses. And they would say, yeah, it's an amazing business to get into, and they'll suggest you do the same. However, they have what they call a survival bias. Because they've made big, because they've been successful, they think you're also going to become successful. However, that can be completely wrong in your case. And then on the other hand, you get suggestions from the sparrows, from the deers, and smaller fish, which will be stuck in that sort of business. And they wouldn't necessarily making good money from it, but they'll try to suggest it to you because they would want to sell a course or some sort of software to you. And because they can't generate the profits from business they're suggesting, they're in the business of suggesting that business to you and actually getting the money off of you. So thus, be very careful where you get your suggestions from. Doing your homework is fine. You can ask any sort of animal about any sort of business. However, you need to have enough self-awareness to know what sort of animal you are. If you're a bird, you shouldn't be going into an ocean. If you're a fish, you shouldn't be living on land. And if you're a land animal, the best place for you is living on land. So understanding yourself is the first step in starting a business. Once you start a business that aligns with your strengths, your chances of success goes much higher. That would be my first suggestion to you. So now let's discuss the three categories of online businesses that you can get into. So the first option is physical products. And if I were to show you a bird's eye view of the entire business model, it is such that you find a product, put it on a platform, and then sell it to a customer. Now, physical product business does not require high skill. So you can have low skills in business, but you can still start a physical product business. And this is why you see a lot of people jumping into the physical products business, because it doesn't need a lot of expertise from you. And in this business model, you try to source a physical product, something that is tangible, something that you can touch, you can hold, and you can actually ship to your customers. Products you can then source locally, or you can source them from the factory of the world, which is China, through websites such as Alibaba.com, AliExpress, and then there are many others. You can Google them. And what you do next is once you source the product, you put them on a platform. A platform can be eBay, it can be Amazon, which is getting a lot of hype these days, your own Shopify store, on Etsy, even Facebook Marketplace, things like that. And then customers will find your products there and they'll buy it from you, and then you get some money in return. So that's pretty much the business model of physical products. Now, there are many types of physical product businesses, which I will discuss later on in other videos. However, more or less, this is the gist of it. This is how the whole business works. You get products from somewhere, you put them on a specific platform, and then you try to market it to your customers where they buy it from you, and in exchange, they give you some sort of monetary gain. Now, the next type of online business that you can get into is digital products. And in digital products business, you need to have a skill. And this sort of business, the product that you're selling is not a physical product. It's something intangible. It's a digital product that you create and put up online. So examples of these would be things like an ebook, for example. It's just a digital book, or things such as apps and put them up on the App Store and then people buy it off of you. Other examples would be things like a coaching program or training. And again, this would be a digital course, digital classes, for example. So if you have a skill of writing, for example, if you're good at writing, then you can write an ebook. If you know coding, then you can create your own apps. You don't necessarily have to go to China or somewhere. You can make your own apps. And then if you have a certain sort of skill, such as, let's say you are a fitness trainer, let's assume, then you can create a coaching program, training program where you teach people how to lose weight and get fit, for example. In a digital product business, usually it's best that you have the skill yourself. You can hire, writers, you can hire coders. However, that again becomes a little bit expensive. You have to take money out of your pockets and actually pay somebody else. And in the long term, it just becomes quite, frustrating. So ideally, you should follow something that is based around a skill you have. And then an ebook, for example, then you would put on something like the Kindle store on Amazon. Apps you would put on things like iTunes or the Play Store for Android. Training or coaching, you would either have your own website with some sort of funnel that you sell to your customers, and then your customers buy these, and in return, again, you get money. So the biggest difference between a physical products business and a digital product business is that in a physical products business, you don't necessarily need to have a skill, and you need to have somewhat of a passion for physical products. Whereas in a digital product, you have to utilize a skill that you have to create a non-tangible digital product that you can then sell to your ideal customer. And then third online business that you can start is a services-based business. And it is your skills that you put up on a platform, and a customer comes and buys from you. So if you are, again, good at writing, or good at, photo editing, or good at talking, or any sort of skill that you have, you can put it up on platforms such as Upwork.com, Fiverr. There are many platforms like these for freelancers where you can put up the services that you provide, and then you charge, a specific amount per hour, and then the customer buys those services from you. So they can hire you for either helping them write a book, or there might be a business who need photo editing, or it can be a parent who hires you for tutoring their kids for their maths or for their English classes, things like that. So This one already again needs some sort of skills from you, but you don't have to go somewhere to get a product or actually create a product. You just put up yourself on these platforms and you're good to go. I get a lot of messages now where people come, especially from developing countries, and they say, we don't have the money to invest in products or coders and things like this. How can I earn money? Then I would say just start selling your services. Put up your profile, whatever you're good at, and literally people are looking for any sort of service that you can think of. Like, just go on these platforms and you will find out, there will be so many things that you can do. Like people actually pay people to hold up a sign, just like that. They, company might be looking for somebody from Africa, African heritage, and they say, we need an African model holding a pen in this specific manner, and I need that picture. And you go, you take a picture like that, and you send it to them, and they pay you in return. So literally, there are like so many weird things that people need help with, and just go through these platforms, see what people are offering, see what people are looking for, and then whatever you can do, put up your profile there and try to get as many jobs as you can earn up some cash, and then when you save up that cash, then you can move into, if you have the passion for going into products, physical products business or digital product business, then you can move into that. But just to get the ball rolling and getting some cash under your pocket, a services based business is really good. So in today's video, I've tried to explain how once you've decided to start a business and have chosen an online business as your route, very quickly you have to decide between these three pathways ahead: physical products business, a digital products business, or a services business. And based on what you feel is going to be right for you, choosing one. Now, take a week from today, really think about what fits with you. I haven't told you the pros and cons of each of these yet. I will tell them in the coming videos. I just want you to, without the bias of the pros and cons, really try to understand the three business models and think about where you see yourself starting the business. Obviously, this is not something that you have to marry and stay with for 30, 40 years from now. Just something that you can get started with. Do you see yourself creating products and putting them online on a website and trying to sell those? Or do you see yourself having a skill which you want to digitize into a product and sell that? Or do you see that you can't create things and then try to sell off to people? You just want to get people to come to you, ask for your service, and you just get that thing done for them and get the money, and that's the end of the job. Just take a week, think about it, and then hopefully in the future videos we'll go through the pros and cons of each and help you decide even more clearly which business you should get into. I hope this has been valuable to you. Again, if you have any questions, just ask in the comments below. And I know a lot of you guys have this business inclination for months or even years from now, but you never got into it. So I really, really want to push you guys into at least taking a start on one sort of business whilst we are in this epidemic. Good luck and see you in the next video.